The invisible man, when genius becomes a ghost. The terror of being unseen. Close your eyes. Imagine this. You wake up one morning, and you no longer exist. Not metaphorically. Not emotionally. Physically. Your body is gone. Your hands pass through the air like ghosts. Your breath fogs nothing. Your reflection has abandoned you. You are invisible. At first, it feels like power. Like freedom. No rules. No consequences. No witnesses. But then the cold sets in. Because without skin, there is no warmth. Without clothes, there is no dignity. Without visibility, there is no humanity. Every step you take is a risk. Every sound you make is a betrayal. People flinch when doors open by themselves. Dogs growl in empty space. Snow betrays your footprints. Dust outlines your crimes. And worst of all, you begin to feel watched. Not by eyes, but by silence. This is the nightmare at the heart of H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man. Not the fantasy of vanishing, but the horror of being erased. Into the quiet, conservative village of Iping, a stranger arrives. His face is hidden behind bandages. His eyes were concealed by dark glasses. His voice was sharp. Demanding. Angry. The villagers whisper. They stare. They sense something is wrong. They are correct. Because what has arrived in Iping is not just a man. It is a walking consequence. 2. The man behind the bandages. Griffin is not a superhero. Wells makes this clear immediately. He is not noble. He is not misunderstood. He is not tragic in the romantic sense. He is brilliant, yes, but brilliant without restraint. Griffin is a scientist who succeeds where no one else has. He solves the impossible equation of invisibility. A triumph of optics. A revolution of physics. And it destroys him. Griffin does not become invisible to save lives. He does not seek knowledge for humanity. He seeks dominance. The moment his body vanishes, so does his moral compass. He speaks openly of a reign of terror. A world ruled not by laws, but by fear. Because when no one can see you, no one can stop you. Or so he believes. But invisibility doesn't elevate Griffin. It exposes him. His paranoia deepens. His temper fractures. His empathy evaporates. The bandages aren't hiding a miracle. They are hiding a monster in the making. Wells gives us a chilling truth. Scientific success does not automatically equal human progress. Sometimes, it accelerates collapse. Griffin's greatest discovery becomes his prison. And he locks himself inside. 3. The psychology of invisibility. Invisibility sounds intoxicating. But Wells dismantles the fantasy piece by piece. First, the body. An invisible man must remain naked. Clothes would betray him. No warmth. No protection. No comfort. Rain outlines his form. Mud clings to his feet. Food becomes visible inside his stomach, half-digested proof of existence. Then, the senses that it makes him unmoored. A mind without mirrors becomes dangerous. 4. The village conflict, fear of the unseen. Iping is not a city of heroes. It is a village of ordinary people. Griffin cannot sleep peacefully. He cannot relax. Every movement risks exposure. He must be constantly aware. Hypervigilance replaces rest. Isolation replaces intimacy. And finally, the mind. Humans are social creatures. We define ourselves by being seen. Take that away, and identity erodes. Griffin no longer hears his own humanity reflected back to him. No faces. No recognition. No accountability. And without accountability, cruelty feels justified. Violence feels logical. Wells understands something terrifying. Evil doesn't always arrive with malice. Sometimes it arrives as loneliness. As resentment. As the belief that the world owes you obedience. Invisibility doesn't make Griffin powerful. Innkeepers. Farmers. Shop owners. And that is exactly why the conflict works. They don't fight Griffin with technology. They fight him with instinct. With dogs. With snow. With flour thrown into the air. Fear spreads faster than reason. A door slams. A voice shouts from nowhere. An invisible blow lands without warning. The village becomes a battlefield where logic collapses. How do you fight what you cannot see? Every shadow feels alive. Every sound becomes a threat. Wells turns invisibility into a social virus. Paranoia infects the group. Trust erodes. Mob mentality takes over. And yet, it is not Griffin who wins. Because power without allies is fragile. The invisible man is hunted not by brilliance, but by collective resistance. His body may be unseen. But his impact is not. In the end, Griffin is undone not by science. But by humanity refusing to surrender to fear. 5. The philosophical abyss and conclusion. The invisible man is not really about invisibility. It is about power without conscience. Wells asks a question that still echoes today. Can genius exist without morality? Griffin believes intelligence entitles him to rule. But intelligence without empathy becomes tyranny. Absolute power does not always corrupt. Sometimes, it reveals. Griffin was always capable of cruelty. Invisibility simply removed consequences. Wells warns us. The greatest danger is not what we cannot see, but what we choose not to examine within ourselves. Technology will advance. Power will concentrate. Knowledge will expand. But if conscience does not grow alongside it, we risk becoming invisible to our own humanity. In the end, Griffin dies exposed. Seen at last. Not as a god. Not as a legend. But as a broken man undone by his own arrogance. And Wells leaves us with one final, haunting truth. To be unseen is not to be free. It is to be alone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into literary horror and philosophical storytelling, like the video, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Because some stories are meant to be seen. And others are meant to be felt in the dark.